Joining us now is former Fees Must Fall leader Mcebo Dlamini. Good to be talking to you, Mcebo. I mean, 2015, 2016, this was pretty much your story. At that time, you were leader of the SRC at Wits University. What is going through your mind right now as you witness the scenes taking place outside Wits University? Yet another generation of students with the same fight.
Well, thank you for having us. Well, it is unfortunate that 6 years down the line, the students, some of them who were not even there during 2015, they find themselves fighting the same struggles that we fought for. And they might have been watching it through Newzroom and other channels at the time. So today they are the ones who are leading it, they're at the picket line. Well, to me, what is happening today at Wits points to very few things. It says to me that in South Africa there is no leadership. These are signs of a lack of leadership. These are signs of people who are in positions of power but don't know why they are there. Because it can't be that the black government still doesn't have a solution of things that happen every year in the beginning of any academic year. What is happening at Wits today happens every year consistently. It then says you have people who can't plan ahead. It's either they can't plan ahead or they are just useless. They have just reached a position of high uselessness. Because, I mean, these are students who were promised free education by the black government in 2017 when President Jacob Zuma announced free education. The ANC adopted free education as their policy in the NGC. Now, you are then saying 3 years down the line, all those things were just fruitless. You have blamed Nzimande, blaming the then president when he was the minister then, and he is still the minister now, saying that Zuma misled or Zuma has caused havoc. It then says there is a problem with the ruling party. There is a problem of inconsistency with the old people in the ANC. They have rendered young people irrelevant and useless.
What we have been seeing as well, Mcebo, coming from the ground is political tension, in as much as the students are united around fighting for education and free education. There's also a split between party lines. How would you advise them as somebody who was there some years back?
Well, look, the divisions are normal. The divisions are expected. Remember that the SRC is a PYA-led SRC, which is SASCO and ANC Youth League. Now, the ruling party is ANC. The people who are in government, who are subjecting the young people to all these atrocities, are our parents. Now, you have other people, other formations like the EFF, who says you can't be leading this thing when you are in bed with the ANC. This then means that the ANC is rendering its youth structures irrelevant. The ANC, by its failure, is rendering the MDM structures irrelevant and to be rejected by the masses. We had the same problem when we were leading there. We were told that, but you are ANC. We were said, when we are here, we are excluded, not based on party line. When academic exclusion comes and financial exclusion comes, it doesn't say you are PYA, it doesn't say you are EFF, it cuts across the board. We are excluded, we are fighting today, firstly, because we are black. We are poor, not just because we are South African, but we are black first. So that's what united us. So that's the word that we will be giving to them. I heard the president trying to speak unity, but unity is not all about words. It's also about action. There will come the party. When we were leading, the ANC wanted Fees Must Fall to end. The EFF wanted it to continue. we were leading as ANC affiliate. We were running a risk of being rejected by Ntuli House and being cast out. We had those that we led with the EFF ones. At night when they go home, they were tapped at the back to say you did well. We were caught between a rock and a hard surface. It is always difficult to lead when you are PYA fighting against those old ANC people.
And how then did you deal with those divisions? How then did you deal with not getting the pat on the back for having actually gone against what your party would have wanted you to do?
We had a generational mission, and we were committed to the struggle. We were committed to the cause. So what united us was black pain, was the suffering, and was the end goal. Because at the end, we felt that it will be a generational victory. And also, what we did upon realizing the danger of the division, we then said, no party line, no PYA here, no EFF here. We are leading as students. So we dealt with the hierarchy of saying the PYA is in SRC, the EFF is what. We then said, this must fall is leaderless. There are no leaders, there is no organization that is leading. But we are all going to rally behind the banner of the SRC because we were running a risk of having Adam Habib declaring us illegitimate and saying that we are rascals. So we were clear in how we dealt with, but we suffered. We were neglected. We were suppressed by where we come from. Our own mother body rejected us. Those who were coming from the EFF were parachuted to structures because they were doing well. But we don't regret taking the position that we took. And we call upon the current young people who are finding themselves fighting the same struggle to say they must arm themselves with content first. It hurts to listen to a student leader coming on national TV and just howling, and they lose the support of the public. They must speak to the parents at home. They must speak to the people who really don't understand what is happening at VET. And they must speak beyond the VET population and speak to someone who's at Teflon, someone who's at Univen, someone who's at Ngoye and Fort Hare. That's how we made a national protest, because we realized that as VET, we are privileged. We have the coverage of the media. Then we said we will speak on behalf of all the suffering black students across South Africa. Student leaders must arm themselves with content, figures, and statistics. Because when you deal with characters like Tito, you must meet them at their level. Clarify them with statistics to say, you can't say there is no money because of COVID-19. You see, so you must be able to articulate. That's the advice that we can give young people today.
You mentioned, Mcebo, earlier on, you made a statement about one of the student leaders who was talking about unity. And in response to that, you said unity is not about words, but unity rather must be seen in action. Perhaps let's take that very same scenario and talk about success. That success is not just about words, that success must be seen in action. As the quote-unquote class of the fees must fall generation, do you believe that your mission was successful or not?
Remember that fees must fall was a moment. It was a reaction. There was a reaction on the ground. The students felt that they can't breathe. They were suffocating. Then they reacted. They erupted. So it is something that couldn't have taken forever, because we were reacting. But in the reaction, we had things that we had tabled to say, these are the things that are prompting us to take to the street. And Fees Must Fall was a broad umbrella. It was not just about the fees. It spoke about the curriculum. It spoke about academics, that we want more black professors in there. It spoke about the language policy, in that we didn't want Afrikaans. So it spoke about a lot of things. It spoke about insourcing of workers. We achieved some, we didn't achieve others. But we prepared the ground. The ground was fertile for those who come after us to take over the baiting, because it was more of a relay. Those who took after us should have taken and completed, because we couldn't remain in the system and as students forever. But we shook the ground. We rendered South Africa ungovernable. We made parliament to come to stand still. We made the country to come to a standstill. We got workers in source. We got more academics, being given professorship and having a funding for postgraduate. Now, we also had President Zuma announcing on free education. That's why we put our arms down, because we thought that the ANC was genuine to the core. But today, I can say to you, they acted in bad faith, because they said to us, free education has been announced, and the ANC also adopted a free education as its policy, only to wait for some of us to move out of the system. And then once we have moved out of the system, they bring back the same Blake Nzimande, who has collapsed NSFAS, because the man has interest in NSFAS. He has contracts in NSFAS. So now you bring the very same person who is conflicted to continue collapsing the institution. So that's why we are where we are today. And I am hurt with how Tito Mboweni is acting. Tito is one of the people who was advising us during Christmas 4. He's one of the cadres and elders who were in our corner, giving us statistics and numbers and content to argue. But today, because he's in the table, eating, probably was speaking then because he was hungry. Because whether he was speaking then because he hated Jacob Zuma so much, he was not genuine to the cause. We fought FISMASPOL not because we hated Zuma or the then government. We fought because we were suffocating and we understood black pain. But those who supported us, some of them are in parliament with Tito today, and they are cutting funding for black young people. We have a communist secretary who's supposed to be pushing socialism and pushing us towards communism, but he is attacking the poor masses of our people, the helpless, which must be defended by him. I am saddened by the state of affairs in this country and those who call themselves as leaders, when they are masquerading as leaders, and they are pop stars and opulent and extravagant individuals who deprive pleasure from inflicting pain in the helpless while they smoke cigars and drink expensive whiskey in Sentin.
Mcebo, you talked there about the different fates of individuals who were then students, how some now are in positions of power while others are marginalized. I mean, you yourself did not have it easy. 2015, you were expelled from Wits University. 2016, you were arrested, and one of the charges against you was malicious damage to property. You were then arrested and then sentenced in 2020. Was it worth it for you, with everything that you personally have been through and the repercussions of what this period has done for you and your life? Would you say that it was worth it?
Well, look, leadership is a calling. Now, we were at the right place and at the right time. If it wasn't us, then who would it have been? We were the right people to shake the status quo. And we were the right people to instill and install confidence amongst young activists. Because our leadership, one of the things that we achieved as the generation of fees must fall is the level of consciousness. We raised the level of consciousness in South Africa amongst the youth. Remember, the youth was the youth that was called the lost generation, the Mandela generation. And then we came and revived and brought back consciousness, especially black consciousness and Pan-Africanism. Yes, there are consequences. In everything that we do, there are consequences. And we are still suffering the consequences even today.
Go ahead,
yes.
Mr. Dlamini, go ahead, sir.
I'm saying, I had a dream that one day I will be one of the biggest advocates in South Africa. My interest being the constitution, jurisprudence, and administrative law. But we couldn't practice because of the criminal record. Even today, we are still trying to expunge the very same criminal record. Now, even when we began to be employed, we had people making noise while we are employed in government. When we were working in government, you have people making noise like the DA saying that why are we working in government offices and then all those kind of things. Then it then says, now it discourages young activists from participating. But we won't now lament and cry because there are people who look up to us. There are those who look up to us to derive confidence. Now, we can't then, when we are in public and then cry. We are soldiers in the army and we understand what it meant being in the forefront. And our plight must inspire. Our challenges must bring confidence to those who are leading today. They must know that we did it. There are those who did it, and so they can. So I don't regret anything.
Let me ask you this, Mr. Dlamini. Here you are now. You described this as a relay, handing the baton over to another generation. But is there still room, you believe, for veterans in the Fees Must Fall movement, for example, to participate and offer some sort of direction and guidance to this particular generation? Is that something that you would consider doing? Is that something that is even a possibility?
Well, yes. We took the role of being mentors. I am in constant communication with the SRC. I've been communicating with them since they took office. I've been communicating with them even today. We have been providing assistance. One of our members, some of the people that we went to vet with, like Advocate Lerato Moela, has been representing students since yesterday. So I am saying that we have been asked, we lacked the support that they had. But the difference with us and them, as we had the numbers, as we had numbers and bodies on the line, they don't have numbers. When you look at them, they are 30 or less than 30. As we had 10,000 to 15,000 bodies on the streets, and we intimidated, and we conquered using numbers. They are exposed because they don't have the numbers. Now, it then says to me, what then makes me more angry is how the Vice Chancellor's Babylon handles the issue of the SRC protest. Because he can't handle 20 people. He sends police to brutalize and kill students who are 20. How dangerous can 20 unarmed 18-year-olds be? We had 15,000 bodies on the line, and Habib didn't kill any of us. Zebulon has shown the highest form of us being anti-black and being an intellectual dark. So now we are there for the SRC, and as former vet leaders, we have written to the vet management and called for a meeting with us to meet them, to engage them, and to question their line of action. So we are deeply involved.
Mr. Ngebo Dlamini, thank you for your time this afternoon and putting all that into perspective for us once again. Former WITS SRC leader and leader as well for the Fees Must Fall.